After being trapped in a time loop for 25 years, the girl suddenly realized in horror that she and her family might already be dead. They lived in a strange house, repeating the same routine every single day. Every morning, Lisa knew that the first thing to wake her up would be her brother's walkie-talkie. Then, as always, he would ask her how to beat the level in the game he could never pass. Their mother would prepare pancakes for breakfast, never failing to remind Lisa to do the laundry. As for their father, he would always be in the garage, trying to fix his car, a car that never seemed to get repaired. In the evening, the whole family would sit in front of the TV on time and watch TV with great interest. Lisa, however, would sit idly by, utterly bored, as she had memorized every episode by heart. She had tried to break free from this never-ending cycle. She had attempted to tell her parents about it, but every time she tried, her brother would interrupt her without warning. She had also tried to leave the house, but the outside world was always shrouded in an impenetrable fog, and her father never allowed her to go out alone. Until one day, as she was once again awakened by her brother's walkie-talkie and went to the basement to do the laundry, as her mother instructed, she suddenly heard a strange noise coming from inside the wall. She wanted to move the washing machine to check, but just as she was about to do so, the lid suddenly slammed shut, and a shadow flashed past her. Terrified, Lisa hurriedly left the basement. At that moment, the house phone rang. Lisa was both shocked and scared, as the phone had never rung before. She hesitantly picked it up, but all she could hear was a burst of static. There was no other sound. She let out a sigh of relief, but also felt a bit disappointed. Back in her room, she habitually practiced her clarinet. Unexpectedly, she suddenly heard a faint female voice calling her name, and it seemed to be coming from the air vent. She pressed her ear against it, trying to listen more closely. But at that moment, her mother appeared. That night, when Lisa lay down to sleep, she suddenly had the eerie feeling of being watched. She sat up cautiously and was horrified to see a figure in the gap of her door. But when she stepped out of her room, the shadow had vanished. Just as she was about to breathe a sigh of relief, she noticed that the attic door had been opened. Summoning her courage, she prepared to go upstairs to investigate. And then, Lisa was once again woken up by her brother's walkie-talkie. To confirm that these eerie events were not just illusions, she went to the basement and moved the washing machine. Behind it, she found a hidden door. However, it was locked, and without a key, she had no way of opening it. She then forced herself to go up to the attic. Luckily, aside from a few scattered videotapes on the floor, nothing seemed unusual. She inserted one of the tapes into the DVD player and realized it was just a recording of their family moving into the house. But as she watched, something felt off. There was a shadowy figure in the window, seemingly watching them. The discovery sent chills down Lisa's spine. Could this figure be the one responsible for trapping her family in the time loop? When she returned downstairs, she had not yet recovered from the shock when she saw something even more unbelievable. Her father, who never smoked, was lighting a cigarette with ease. Not only that, but her mother, who always watched television, was now reading a book. Everything was the complete opposite of how it had always been, something that had never occurred in the past 25 years. The string of abnormalities kept Lisa restless, and just then, a strange noise came from outside, followed by the slow creaking of the front door opening. Terrified, Lisa curled up under her blanket.
Lisa.
Then, once again, her brother's walkie-talkie woke her up. But this time, something was different. Her brother's voice came through, urgently calling for help. Lisa rushed downstairs only to see her usually loving parents engaged in a fierce argument. Her father furiously blamed his inability to fix the car on her mother, and when he saw Lisa, he aggressively accused her of hiding the spark plugs. While she stood frozen in shock, the doorbell suddenly rang. A strange repairman stood at the door, claiming he was there to check the electrical system. The moment Lisa laid eyes on him, she was overwhelmed by a suffocating sense of dread. For the first time in 25 years, she was seeing an outsider. Determined to uncover the truth, she gathered her courage and followed the man upstairs, only to find him sitting quietly on her bed, as if he had been waiting for her. Lisa asked who he was and what was happening. The man did not answer. Instead, he slowly walked toward her and removed his sunglasses.
Whenever you hear strange noises in this house, or voices calling out to you, ignore them. Pretend they don't exist, Lisa. If you should try to contact the living, or anyone else, You and your family will suffer in ways you cannot fathom.
What sent chills down Lisa's spine was that, in the reflection of his glasses, she saw herself. Not as she was, but as a skeleton. Did this mean that she and her family really were dead? And that was why they had been reliving the same day over and over. But why was she the only one who had become aware of it, while her parents and brother remained oblivious? After the repairman left, the house fell silent once more, and her father returned to his usual gentle self. But Lisa could no longer bear the torment of the unknown. Ignoring her father's protests, she grabbed her bicycle and rode straight into the fog. No matter how hard she tried, however, she always ended up back at the starting point. Defeated and hopeless, Lisa returned to her room, only to witness something utterly terrifying. There, lying in her bed, was a girl who looked just like her. Lisa cautiously reached out to wake her, but the next second,
Olivia! What are you doing in there?
Help me, Lisa! Please!
a brilliant flash of light engulfed everything. Then, everything disappeared without a trace. But recalling what the girl had said, Lisa decided to cut open the carpet. To her horror, she found a hidden compartment beneath the floor. Inside, she discovered an old photo album filled with newspaper clippings about missing girls, dating from 1953 to 1985. On the last page, she saw her family's names. On the back of the album, she found a key. Thinking of the hidden door behind the washing machine, she hurried to the basement and tried it. Sure enough, the key fit. Beyond the door lay a deep, dark chamber. Determined to uncover the truth, Lisa gathered her courage and stepped inside. The room had long been abandoned, with stagnant water pooled on the floor. In the water, she found a strange bottle. It seemed to be the murder weapon, and the scattered objects on the ground could be the belongings of past victims. Lisa picked up a watch among them, but noticed nothing unusual. What she didn't know was that when she tossed it back into the water, its hands suddenly started moving. At the same time, the furnace inside the chamber roared to life, and in the next instant, Lisa witnessed the horrifying scene of the watch's owner meeting a gruesome death. Terrified, she quickly fled. When she returned to the dining room, she was shocked to see a strange boy sitting in her usual seat. She asked her parents who the boy was, but they looked utterly confused, as if they had no idea what she was talking about. When she turned her head, the boy was suddenly right behind her. His voice, however, was unmistakably that of the repairman from the previous day. He warned Lisa to stop meddling, or else her entire family would be annihilated. As he spoke, a blinding white light flashed, and the clock hands began to spin rapidly. Lisa watched in horror as her parents and brother started to decay at an alarming speed, eventually crumbling into piles of bones. Collapsing to the ground, Lisa desperately begged the repairman for mercy. In the next instant, her family was standing before her, perfectly unharmed. After this warning, Lisa's fear grew even stronger. However, just as she was about to resign herself to this cruel reality, the mysterious girl appeared once again, this time in the mirror. Lisa jumped in fright and quickly turned around, but in reality, there was no one there. Cautiously, she reached out toward the girl's reflection. The moment her hand touched the girl's cheek, another golden light flashed. When Lisa opened her eyes again, she found herself inside the girl's body. Judging by the furniture and decorations, she realized she was now in the future. 25 years later, through messages left on the girl's iPad, Lisa quickly pieced together the truth. The girl's name was Olivia, and she had recently moved into the house with her family. But soon after, strange things began happening. Her once gentle father had become increasingly irritable and short-tempered. After investigating the house and researching its history, Olivia finally uncovered the horrifying truth. Every missing girl in the news had been lured and murdered by the house's original owner. Even after the killer died in the house in 1983, the cycle never ended. Lisa's entire family was murdered after the killer's death, which led Olivia to a chilling realization. The murderer must have become an evil spirit, possessing the fathers of the households that moved in and using them to slaughter their families. This would explain her own father's sudden personality change. And the reason she was able to reach out to Lisa for help was because she had found Lisa's necklace while searching the house. Lisa instantly realized that this might be the reason she had been able to wake up from the time loop in the first place. Olivia pleaded for Lisa's help. After all, only a spirit could fight a spirit. Lisa wanted to refuse, but she had no choice. Loud arguing erupted from downstairs. In the dining room, Olivia's parents were in a heated dispute, but Lisa immediately recognized what was happening. The evil spirit had possessed her father. Without wasting another second, Lisa urged Olivia's mother to take her children and leave. No matter how she explained, however, Olivia's mother dismissed her warnings, thinking she was hysterical. Left with no other option, Lisa panicked and ran out to seek help, only to realize too late that she was still just a spirit. Even though she had possessed Olivia's body, she still couldn't leave the house. A mysterious force repelled her back into her original time. When Lisa woke up again, she forced herself to stay calm and returned to the secret chamber in search of more clues. But as soon as she reached the deepest part, she was left speechless by the sight before her. Bones littered the floor near the incinerator. Without warning, the evil spirit appeared behind her and sealed her inside. As she teetered on the edge of despair, her gaze fell upon a ring on the ground. Engraved on it was the name of the first victim. The moment she touched the ring, the incinerator's vent suddenly opened. Clinging to this sliver of hope, Lisa scrambled to climb out. When she finally reached the top, she found herself in the garage. At the entrance, she saw another unfamiliar girl desperately pounding on the locked door, trying to escape. When the girl turned around, Lisa immediately recognized her. She was the owner of the ring, the first victim, but she didn't seem to realize that she was already dead, nor that she was trapped in an endless loop of her final moments. Lisa hurriedly told her the truth and showed her the ring to awaken her. In the next moment, Lisa returned to her original timeline and found her brother playing his game as usual. She tried to tell him the truth, but to her surprise, he wasn't the least bit shocked. He confessed that he had already figured it out when he accidentally found the glasses he had been wearing when he died. He had been awake all along, but he didn't want to accept reality. He wished to live with their family forever, so he pretended not to know anything. And every time Lisa tried to tell their parents the truth, he would deliberately interrupt her. Hearing this, Lisa didn't know what to say. She turned and went back to her room. When Lisa woke up again, she was surprised to find her mother sitting beside her, something that had never happened before. Her mother had finally found the missing clothes, and in that moment, everything became clear to Lisa. Before the tragedy, her mother had already sensed something was wrong with her husband. She had planned to take the clothes and secretly escape with the children, but ultimately, she failed. Hearing this, Lisa was overwhelmed, not with despair, but with excitement. She realized that if she could wake up their father as well, they could finally break the cycle and escape the evil spirit's curse. Without hesitation, she ran to the garage and bluntly asked her father where the spark plug was.
You lost them on purpose.
Lisa, I don't know what you're talking about.
You hid them from yourself.
Why would I do that? All right.
Because you knew what you were turning into. And where are they, Dad? Deep down, you know.
Startled by her directness, he instinctively retrieved the hidden spark plug. The moment he inserted it into the car, his memories came rushing back. He finally remembered everything. It was he who had drugged his family, placed them in the car, and unknowingly caused their deaths by carbon monoxide poisoning. The brutal truth shattered him, leaving him on the verge of collapse. Lisa quickly reassured him. It wasn't his fault. He had been possessed, and now that the entire family was fully awake, the spirit's curse was broken. The distorted time loop began to unravel. Lisa rushed to open the front door. For the first time, sunlight broke through the thick fog. Her family, overjoyed, ran toward the light. But Lisa stood still. She longed for freedom, but she couldn't abandon the other victims, or Olivia, who was still alive. Before her father could stop her, she made a choice. She shut the door, and once again, she found herself inside Olivia's body. At that moment, Olivia was being hunted by her possessed father. Lisa quickly hid under the bed, waiting for an opportunity. When the spirit moved away, she bolted for the basement. Using a crowbar, she smashed open the wall, uncovering the hidden chamber. She gathered all the victims' belongings and placed them inside the incinerator, hoping to awaken the cursed souls. But before she could finish, the spirit appeared behind her and knocked her unconscious. When Lisa woke up, she was tied inside a car. She grabbed a lighter from the back seat, burned through the restraints, and seized the moment to snatch the car keys. Then, with all her strength, she threw them beyond the house's boundaries. As soon as she did, the spirit lunged at her. Just as he was about to end her, a shadow emerged. It was Frances, the first victim. Seeing the ring in her hand, Lisa knew she had succeeded. One by one, the victims appeared. Together, they overpowered the spirit and cast him into the incinerator. The flames roared to life, reducing him to nothing but ashes. And in the end, Lisa was once again woken by her brother's walkie-talkie. Everything in her room remained the same. The only difference was a brand new bicycle beside her, a gift she had waited 25 years to receive for her 18th birthday. She slowly pushed open the door. This time, there was no endless fog, only brilliant, radiant light.